Well, what is up, my fellow heathens, and welcome to another episode of the Southern Heathens podcast. I'm Hraven Tierson, and joining me, as always, Elba Ymirison, and welcome to the show.
Hello, y'all. We got a wide range of topics today. Polytheism, Animism, and fylgja. So we'll just dive right in to polytheism, what it means, and what we believe, or what probably some of our listeners, I would hope, a lot of listeners believe. So polytheism itself, put it simply, it's the belief or worship of more than one God. And that, I think, is a pretty simple, good definition for us being pagans, because there is more than one God. And also, too, I know I put it simply on that, but polytheism, too, is the literal worship. The gods are not archetypes in polytheism. They are real beings, right, as we always say. So what we believe, what at least I believe, Robin can go after me, and yes, I would consider myself a polytheist. I do believe in, every god. I just don't worship all of them, of course.
Right.
But
I'm a little different. I don't believe in every god. I believe there are certain gods, and sometimes I believe that those gods may have crossed over into other cultures, and they're just called by a different name, because there are so many, and I know a lot of people disagree with my stance on that, but there are so many near perfect similarities between gods from different cultures that I just, I cannot differentiate the two.
Well, even then you would have to also specify what cultures, because if you're talking about, best example, Germanic peoples, Germanic peoples span from England, France, Scandinavia, right, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands. Yes, I would consider all of those the same gods, except for probably the tribal gods that each tribe would have differently. Example would be Saxonaut, god of the Saxons.
Right.
He's obviously not a Norse god, but Woden, yes, I would say that is Odin. And then Donar would be Thor, Thunor would be Thor as well.
Right.
In case you guys didn't know, Thunor would be Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah. There's also like Tyr. You had Tu, which I believe is Anglo-Saxon, isn't it? Which is where the Tuesday comes from.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, though, would I say like Odin is Zeus? No.
No, it's actually I watched a video from Dr. Crawford that says the Zeus, the etymology of the word, actually is more akin to Tyr than it is.
Yeah, and I could see that. Do I believe they're the same gods? No. Just like I don't see Hercules as Thor. Similarities, yes,
right,
for sure. But those are two completely different pantheons, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that there are just millions of gods up there. I think because each culture has their own creation story, and obviously one's right and one's not. So, I mean, the earth wasn't created millions of different ways by millions of different gods, so...
Or was it?
How many times has this thing been destroyed and recreated?
You never know, I guess.
You do never know.
Never know.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly believe in multiple gods. I know you do. And to me, I think polytheism doesn't necessarily mean you're a pagan, but I mean, it is, kind of a pagan thing if you use the Christian definition. Pagans were. I think polytheism is like the natural state of existence. I mentioned in earlier episodes, I just believe monotheism to be unnatural. So.
Which actually kind of leads us into our next topic, which I promise you guys we're not trying to go too fast, because these two topics will actually intertwine with each other. And the second one is animism. And animism, especially today, I feel like a lot of people confuse polytheism and animism. So the definition of it is belief in a supernatural power or spiritual power that organizes and animates the material universe. People who are animistic usually would believe that, let's say, that plant outside or the trees, have spirits of their own. The universe itself, the sun, the earth, are spirits of their own and have their own intentions. But we obviously just don't know what those are. But they are not just some floating rocks. There is a purpose to them. So that's the definition of it, and that's also my opinion of it. What I believe, I would say I am polytheistic with animistic tendencies, and I say that because Norse paganism is a great example of that.
Right. Yeah.
What do you have to say?
It's definitely. I definitely agree. Like I came from a Celtic background. As I've stated before on the podcast, which is very animistic. Druids believe, the trees have individual souls, spirits, and they're intelligent beings and all that. I've kind of strayed away from that. So I would be more polytheistic with animistic tendencies as well. So
yeah, and I feel, the two themselves, like I said, Norse paganism is a great example. The two intertwine with each other, probably more so polytheism, of course, especially within the worship of the gods. But animism, I feel like, has a key role in that because I feel like people kind of, I know we mentioned this before, but the Roche truths,
yeah,
and stuff, they get, they just think, there's only three gods to worship, and there's nothing else more important.
And then I think you get into the Wicca truths, which think this rock has a sacred spirit, and maybe it depends on where it came from. It depends on if it's just a piece of gravel in your driveway, probably not. But not everything. I don't believe everything has a unique spirit. I really don't. Some things I think are just inanimate objects, and that's I like that inanimate. It's inanimate. So yeah. I guess that speaks to the root word of animism.
Yeah, and as I stated before, though, how they tie into each other. I mean, you can look back 1,000 years ago, and they definitely. And I'm only referring to this age only because so many people, refer to Norse paganism as just with the Viking Age. And that's fine. That's fine. Yes, if you look back into the old sources, you'll definitely see that it is polytheistic with animistic tendencies, for sure. You could read any source. There's a bunch of sagas that are great examples. Even the gods themselves have, you could say, spirit animals. Not actually spirit animals, but they'd be spirit animals to us, I guess right. You could say. But Odin has Hunin and Munin. Thor has his goats. I forgot their names. So, I mean, animals are very much prevalent, relevant to Norse paganism as a whole.
Right, and I'm not really certain how the word is. How do you pronounce fylgja?
Fylgja.
Yeah. Now that brings me into a video I found on TikTok. I know you're not too fond of what I'm about to do, but I am going to play this video for the listeners, okay? So, this is a creator, a supposed Norse pagan creator on TikTok, and I'm going to play this.
Fylgja is possibly a part of your soul that is represented as an animal and usually is tied to your personality, sometimes represented as a woman or female figure in general. In these sagas, they tend to be mentioned around the time of someone's passing away, unaliving, things like that. Specifically, in one saga, there's a guy, he goes out into a field, he sees a bloodied goat. The person with him does not see the bloodied goat, so he understands that that part of him has passed away and that he too will soon meet his fate. They tend to be omens. It's also believed that the reverse might happen, where someone might see someone else's fylgja and be able to gain information from that. The two are not the same. Stop using Viking culture, Viking ancestry as an excuse to absorb other people's cultural terms and ideas when they are not equivalent. Stop using us as a justification for cultural appropriation.
All right. So basically what she's saying is using the words or believing that you have a spirit animal is cultural appropriation, probably of the Native American culture. Clearly, we have our own. And the definitions and stuff that we got actually came from Dr. Jackson Crawford. So I would trust that source with my life. I mean, the man is very, very intelligent. He is, he has books out there where he's translated the Poetic Eddas, the Prose Edda, all different sagas, the Havamal. He's out there. He knows what he's talking about. So if I still have, I butcher the word fylgja. Obviously it's a spirit that is associated with an individual, that presents itself as an animal, as according to your personality. So, like mine would be the raven, and which is I am Raven, and what would yours be?
Mine is I'm going to say this because I love all of them and I have since I was a kid. And when I say this, you all probably know exactly what I'm talking about. When I was a little kid, I grew up every Saturday morning watching Animal Planet. And the first show that always came on and still holds dear to my heart is The Crocodile Hunter.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah. So my spirit animal, I'd say, are crocodilians. I love all of them the same, but they probably the closest though would probably be a saltwater crocodile. I've actually been to Australia and seen them in person, and it is it's awesome sight. But that is my fylgja, my spirit animal, and which, by the way, what she said on the video about it possibly having to do with come in the form of an aged woman. There's actually no sources that say that at all. Jackson Crawford actually debunked that too, saying that a female spirit, or coming in the form of a spirit coming in the form of a female, that would be something like the Disir or Dis at the end of something. I forgot.
Yeah, that's the feminine spirit. The female spirit.
That has nothing to do with your fylgja or spirit animal.
Right. Now the Dis is more associated with a spirit that is the whole family, as opposed to the fylgja, which is a spirit that's associated with just you and your personality. It's an individual thing. So that's a part of that video, like you said, is completely wrong, and Dr. Crawford debunked that easily. So
yeah, and to me, spirit animals, I think, just my opinion really, but I don't think you can't culturally appropriate a spirit animal because, like you were saying, it's an individual thing, and I think us as humans who we came from nature, I think having a spirit animal or fylgja is important. Now, do I think it probably comes in different cultures as a different word? Well, probably. But most of the time, especially if it's in an animistic way, which it is,
right,
it's going to mean essentially the same thing.
Yeah. And people have to understand, the spirit animal isn't actually the animal. We understand that. It's a spirit that takes the form of that animal because it speaks to your personality. It speaks to, your individual character. So, like the raven is known for being cunning and wise, and they're loyal, and they remember everything. You know what I'm saying? So it speaks to how I hold myself, and I'm sure that you can explain why you're so drawn to a crocodilian.
Yeah, since I was a kid, like I explained earlier, growing up watching Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter. These animals have been on the planet for more than 200 million years. They're older than the dinosaurs, and their hide it's not. I wouldn't say it's completely bulletproof, but it is to actually a lot of guns.
They're probably related to Ragnar.
Oh man. Well, wouldn't it be more Bjorn Ironside? Because what is it? Fucking no sword touched him.
Yeah.
In battle. But no, their hide is so tough. They're patient. They're definitely ambush predators. Anyone who knows them or knows about them should know that. They can go up to a year without eating. I don't know if anyone knew that.
Me too.
Yeah. I actually can't. I can go a long time without eating. Do I prefer to? Obviously not. And I'm pretty sure they don't either.
Yeah.
Sure?
I know this is a bit off topic, but I was thinking about doing that, 20-day water fast, where all you do is consume water. Your body goes into ketosis, and I've got plenty to use. But yeah, back to I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. But yeah, they're tough. They're smart too. People often associate crocodilians with just being this dumb big monster, and that's definitely not true. They obviously wouldn't have survived as long as they have, being a big dumb monster.
Right. They're very intelligent, and I think they have like a strategic mind.
Yeah, and they remember too. In proof, if you guys. I won't list the name right now. I'm not sure if we're allowed to. But one of the trainers, and mind you, like I said, crocodilians. So this goes for crocs, gators, caimans, and gharials. A trainer alligator trainer that I follow. He rescues nuisance alligators. He trains them. They're not tame. Don't get me wrong. They'll never become tame. That's not really possible. Not in today's age. But they are trained, and they do respond by specific names that they have been given. And he proves that over and over again on his videos. He'll call out a name, and that one alligator will be in the middle of a big pool full of them, and only he will walk out because he was called. Now, obviously, it doesn't always work out like that, especially if they're all really hungry. But most of the time, though, yes, they do respond by name. So they are smart. They do remember. Also, one thing that I can relate to is I don't think people realize too about crocodilians is, let's say one gets shot or gets attacked by another croc or gator, whatever. They heal really fast and they adapt. I could say it kind of relates to me, especially I'd say more so on the adaptive part. You know, I'm very much a person adapting to my situation. Always have kind of been that way. I don't really think twice about it either. I guess it's like them. Like, you know, I don't really think that they think twice about, oh, well, if they lost their left front leg or something like that, that they are actually going to think and start crying or anything like that. Like, no, they just have to just keep on swimming. You know, keep on going.
You know, I think I like to collect shiny things. So, you know, the corvid, you know, crows and ravens and stuff, that's one of the things, you know, I like to collect shiny things. And I do too. I used to collect these, and here's actually one of them right here, little aluminum bits from where I used to work. It's a pretty neat little thing. But yeah, I actually do that too, and I think that's kind of interesting.
And yeah. I also love the water. I will jump into just about any body of water. I don't really care. I love swimming. I've always been the person to not swim with goggles on because I feel like it just constricts my eyes. Even if I get shit in them, I don't really care.
Right. Do you think that's why I like to eat leftovers?
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, if there's any advice I can give anyone about figuring out their fylgja, is think about something, an animal that has been around you subconsciously, consciously, or just in your life, but you haven't really, I guess, realized it. Like for some people, dogs, you know, especially, you know, man's best friend. And that could be their spirit animal. And that's understandable because dogs are so cute, so sweet.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, people, the good owners of those dogs are the same way. I would say, you know, meditate, you know, because usually that fylgja will come to you. At least that's in my experience how it's happened. Meditate, watch nature documentaries. I mean, not just for that meditation purpose, but I mean, those are fucking awesome to watch anyways.
Right. Well, you know, and just because there's a particular story in the sagas or wherever that this is how the fylgja came to this person doesn't mean that's the only way a fylgja can come to a person. That's just what we have that was written down. You know, we have a lot of what do they call it, UPG or whatever?
Yeah.
That, you know, people have their own experiences, and just because someone else wrote their experience down and someone didn't, you know, doesn't necessarily mean your fylgja is only going to come to you at the moment of your death. That's not necessarily true. I mean, many other ways that it could happen. I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen that way, and I'm not going to say it's only going to happen that way. We don't know that. And to think that you do know that is kind of arrogant.
Yeah, I can agree. Again, you know, I'll always say, you know, try to watch some documentaries on some stuff. And for one, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, for one. And two, I feel like in those raw, uncut videos of animals in the wild, especially, those will definitely help. I mean, for me, when I was a kid, I also loved watching Nile crocs in Africa when the wildebeest would cross, you know, in the Nile. I love seeing that because it's a guaranteed these giant 20-foot crocs are going to grab this huge wildebeest, pull it in there, death roll it, and boom, he has his to-go meal.
Yeah,
to me, you know, I thought that was, I loved it. Yeah, that's the advice I'd give is just try to watch some raw, uncut stuff of, you know, your spirit animal. Because you guys got to remember, the spirit animal, the fylgja, at least in my experience, like you said, it's a spirit coming in the form of an animal, but that doesn't mean it's just what is it? That doesn't mean it's like it's human, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's going to come to you and talk to you and say, "Hey, you need to do this today." Like, no, not really. I mean, it could. I could be wrong, but at least in my experience and the meditations I've done, and the offerings I've done, I have not gotten that. I've gotten more of the signs of like an actual like in dreams or meditations. I've seen things like a crocodile being a crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing its thing.
Meditations, dreams, stuff like that, and people can akin them to visions and stuff when you're meditating. It doesn't necessarily mean when you go out and you're driving down the road and there's a crow or a raven flying by your car that there's a sign. Not necessarily. It's probably just a bird.
Yeah.
It's just the same. It's the same with just because you saw a raven doesn't mean Odin's there.
On the contrary, though, I would say that they are with you more than the gods are, at least from my experience. Like Landvetter, the land spirits, they are there. I would way more than the gods ever will be, probably in your life.
Right.
I could be wrong, but from people I've talked to and sources and books I've read, you can definitely tell in there that they're not that they're more connected to them, but the presence is definitely around them a lot more than the gods are.
Well, yeah, the gods are busy, and the last thing they really want to do is hang out with you. So, I mean, that's just how it is. So,
yeah. I would say meditate on it. For me personally, I wear a mala, a meditational necklace with a crocodile skull on it. This one's not really a real skull. It's just a brass mold.
Yeah, with the intentional representation.
Yeah, and I'll also be getting teeth here soon.
Yeah, you actually have some little teeth.
I have some alligator teeth too. Yeah, they're sitting on my altar next to my crocodile skull.
Right. Yeah, they're really tiny, and you'd be afraid to drop them.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd be bigger.
Well, I mean,
the ones I'll be getting are from a saltwater croc for the teeth, so that definitely will be. I think they're almost 2 inches long each, so they'll be big.
Yeah, those are huge.
And I'll have some for my hat and like a bracelet. I like to wear those things because it's a representation of not just my fylgja, but that's just who I am and what I love. That's also a big reason when I decided to move to the South. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh shit, there's going to be alligators. Maybe not exactly where we live. Well, that's not actually true, but still though, it's a 3-hour drive, and next month I'll probably be going to a reservoir full of them, be camping near it. So
I'm going to do my best to join you.
Yeah. So that's for me personally. Meditating does help, but I understand your mind can be so chaotic sometimes. So
that's just something you have to work on, though.
Yeah. But doing something in the physical world helps with that too. Mm-hmm. Especially after seeing it in person. Like when I first got my snake, because I love all reptiles. I've always been a reptile guy too. But when I first got my snake Lotus, it was surreal. Having her, because I've interacted with snakes before, and my friend's big old snake used to sleep next to him. But right. I know some people are like, trust me. Anyways, when I got her though, it was definitely more surreal because it's a completely different atmosphere having her than it would be a dog or a cat. Or, and I didn't expect it to be like that. But realistically speaking, I've only been around dogs and cats in households most of the time. Right. So taking care of them is a lot different. It does require some money, which I have no problem doing because I love her.
Yeah, you just picked up some mice for her today.
Yeah, I just fed her actually right before this episode, and Robin got to see it
for the first time. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, she grabbed it, struck at it, and strangled. Boom. Probably by the end of this episode, she'll probably have digested. Well, not digested it, but it'll probably be in her mouth though by then.
Yeah, she was working on it for sure. It was one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. So
yeah, I'll usually stay in there for a second, make sure she doesn't spit it out. But then after that, I'm pretty sure she might get embarrassed if I'm in there. So I usually just let her go. But.
So yeah, but like always, like we tell everybody, go outside. And of course, if you're outside, the land spirits are outside. You're not going to feel them in your house usually, I guess. But I mean, you can. I'm not going to say you can't. But I mean, go outside. Read a book. immerse yourself in nature and literature and music, and just stop all the time wanting to be a city slicker. Get out there and experience nature and the outdoors and enjoy your life.
I feel like it's very easy to do that here too, which I will say, because up in Washington, just in the West, because I've lived in California too and Arizona for a short while. There are so many big cities, and so many people live there, and to go out and to drive to somewhere in nature, it's so hard sometimes because there's such big city structures everywhere, and here though everything's really spread out. Yeah, there's this town city area, but I mean we're 10-15 minutes away from town, and as soon as you get on that back road, it's
gone.
Yeah, it's farmland, hills, and trees.
Yeah, fields. And
how many lakes do we have here? Like literally right next to us?
3.
Yeah. I mean, it's I would say it's pretty easy for us, and I'm grateful. I will say I'm very grateful to be able to just walk outside and just see nothing but trees.
Yeah, and we have that small creek in the ravine out back.
Yes.
It's very pretty. That's really the gist of it. I mean, that's how you get connected with yourself, with the spirits. And and that's how you calm your mind. And I've never really understood somebody that can just get a hotel room on the 25th floor of a hotel and take a picture out the hotel room and be like, oh, this is so beautiful. Like, it's concrete and fluorescent lights. How is that beautiful?
And if I was that high up, I'd probably shit myself. I am so afraid of heights. It's not funny.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. If I was on a mountain, yeah, that'd be different, because then my fear of heights, I'm still afraid, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more, in my mind, I'm a lot more calmed down and whatnot, because right. I'm out in nature.
Yeah, it really helps calm you.
And actually, when I get a chance, I will post a few pictures up on a mountain where I used to live in Washington. It was like 15-20 minutes away from my mom's house where I was living at the time. So I'll post a couple pictures there just to show you how high it was. And actually, it's funny, it was right above, I know this is kind of off topic. It was right above one of the scenes in the movie Twilight, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys have seen. This was filmed above where they did the baseball scene. So, I know, he's giving me a look right now. But no, it's beautiful scenery. Again, though, guys, go outside, immerse yourself, turn your phone off. Obviously, be safe, especially if you're going to go into deep woods where no one's at. And you're miles away from any gas station or anything, okay, then that's a little different. But if you're not going that far and you have everything in line, you have a weapon just in case, turn your phone off.
Yeah, just keep your phone on you, because if you use smoke signals, that's cultural appropriation. So, can't do that.
But in all seriousness, guys, though, my biggest advice is that's the best thing I try to do is, turn your phone off when you go outside. It's so peaceful. You don't have to worry about Facebook notifications or,
right.
Who posted what on Instagram? Oh, did I get a like on something? Oh, who Snapchatted me?
I saw something earlier, the way things are going. You go to the gas pump and swipe your card, and it'll say delete so many tweets that violated our terms of service before you can fill your pump. And I can see that happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just nature itself will bring you far more reward than you can ever imagine.
Right.
And it's right there in front of you. It really is. Just got to make the effort. And sometimes maybe it might help if you go with others, because sometimes I know people kind of need that push. Mm-hmm. You and I know we don't really need anyone to go. We just kind of go.
You're right.
Like a couple weeks ago when I just got bored and drove to Alabama by myself.
So, how's that work? You're like, hey, I'm in Alabama. I'm like, well, fuck you too.
Yeah, I got bored, so I was like, all right, I want to go see some nature. But yeah, I mean, if it helps going with people too, go with them, and maybe it might help them as well.
So, you have anything else to add?
I think we all summed it up. I think you had 3 more things you had to say. Not 3 more topics. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, we have a brand new website. It's up and it's running. It's the southernheathens.com. That's all one word. thesouthernheathens.com, and we are officially on YouTube. You can find us at the Southern Heathens on YouTube. And if you need to get a hold of us, you can get a hold of us, of course, on Facebook or on our new website. You just go to the contact tab. And our new email is info@thesouthernheathens.com. That's all one word, info@thesouthernheathens.com. And if you like the content that we're making and you want to share it, go ahead and share it with everybody that you can. Follow us on all the major podcasting platforms and give us a rating and review. And you do all those things, and we will be back with you next week. Thank you.